What do you think? Do you think Jesus rose from the dead or not?
No.
Okay, good. Why?
That's not how it happens. Like, you just don't, like, rise up. It hasn't happened again. It never really happened in previous religions or many other religions. There's never been this resurrection. There's been reincarnation, which I do believe in, because there's so many gods, yet they all believe the same thing. So in that sense, I believe in reincarnation of that one principle in many different regions, because you have one in Asia, you have one, there's something for every area, yet they all have the same powers and same abilities, yet ours is the right one, and ours is the most crucial, or ours is the most critical of our living. So in a way, I feel like as an American society, we have chosen to use religion as a rule book to how we need to act as a society versus other religions that use it as a practice to just be a good person, to have good karma.
Okay, now I like your first point. The reason I can't believe the resurrection, you said, is because it's never happened again. Okay, but we've hit a wall on this one. Has the beginning of the universe ever happened again? No. Has the beginning of human life ever happened again?
Could.
No. No, it began. Has the discovery of penicillin ever happened again? No, it happened historically. Has George Washington ever been president of the United States? Again. No. My mother was a good golfer. She hit a hole in one. Did it happen repetitively that my mother hit a hole in one? No. You see, sir, the whole idea of repeatability is wonderful when it comes to science. But when it comes to history, sir, you cannot repeat history. I was born 67 years ago. Did that ever happen again, my birth? No, sir. It happened once. It's an historical event, but it never happened again. Therefore, the whole idea, I can't believe that Jesus rose from the dead because it hasn't happened again, is not fair when it comes to historical knowledge. You're right, it hasn't happened again. Neither has the beginning of the universe, neither has George Washington being the first president of the United States, neither has my birth or your birth ever happened again. It's not repeatable. So, the question then is there a supernatural God who can perform a miracle, change the laws of nature, and bring a dead person back to life? And obviously, of course, the answer is yes, it's possible. So then the question becomes, is it reasonable to believe that? In light of the fact that you and I do not see dead people rising from the dead, is it reasonable for you and me to believe that indeed Jesus did rise from the dead? And I would argue, because of the existence of a supernatural God who created life in the first place out of nothing, remember, something never comes from nothing. It takes a supernatural God to create. Well, he created the universe out of nothing. So of course, if he created the universe, he's more than capable of raising a dead person back to life. Does that make any sense?
Yeah, but so where would you say we lie now?
Where do we lie now?
In this current day and age, like where is God when we need him?
Good.
Or where is that supernatural being that we need?
You bet. According to Christ and my experience, God loves you, and by his Holy Spirit, he's drawing you to himself. Now, you and I can throw up all types of excuses. There have been a few atheists out here who have said, no, Cliff, there's no God, I'm an atheist. But then you see, when I ask them, what are you living for, and what's the evidence that what you are living for is true? In other words, every atheist has faith. Every agnostic has faith. Every Hindu, Buddhist, Christian, Jew, Muslim, we all have faith. Meaning by that, we all answer the basic human questions. Why is human life valuable? What's the purpose of life? What's the basis of your ethical system? Do you think there's life after death or not? And the answers that we give involve hopefully evidence, but then there's tremendous faith, a tremendous trust that what we believe is true. So we all have faith. The question is, what's the evidence that whatever you believe is true? Now, sir, I appreciate you shared with me you believe in reincarnation. What's the evidence that reincarnation is true? Why? In other words, why do you believe in reincarnation?
I personally believe it because, so I see it as there's one high being who we see as God.
Right.
It could be named whoever, it could be a female, it could be whatever it is. It could be just a spirit.
Right.
but they send down prophets to preach the word of God.
Okay.
But I feel like in our nation,
Right.
we've used that as a way to control people
Yes.
rather than to control our lifestyles or to control how we treat other human beings. Because if you look at prophets like Buddha or prophets like in Hinduism or Judaism, they
Right.
all have the same principles, or they all have similar principles,
Similar.
of course. But when you look at Jesus, the principles are just so exact and so not derogatory, what's the word? They're just so demeaning versus the other ones where it's like, just be a good person. Ours is, don't do this, don't do this, don't do this. Similar to Mormonism. We are given a list of rules
Yeah.
versus a way to be a good person.
Okay. So the first commandment in the Bible is, I'm the Lord your God, you'll have no other gods before me. Okay, why is that important? Okay, watch. Hi, my name's Cliff. What's your name?
Morgan, nice to meet you.
Ann, good to meet you.
Ann.
What's your name?
Morgan.
Sally.
No.
No? What's your name?
Morgan.
Well, I'm going to call you Marie. Now, what am I doing? Not only am I being rude, but I am being incredibly arrogant. Her name is not Sally. Her name is not Ann. Her name is not Marie. Her name is Morgan. Now, I'm going to have the humility to allow this woman to reveal to me what her name is. If she remains quiet or if she lies to me, I'm never going to have the privilege of getting to know Morgan. She is Morgan. She is not Sally. She's not Marie. She's not Ann. Same thing with God. You know, I think God is a white male, about 6 foot 1 inch tall, and he likes basketball. Oh, Cliff, wow, that's interesting. It happens that you're 6 foot 1, white male, and you enjoy basketball. So you've basically created God in your own image. Don't do that, Cliff. It's rude to Morgan to not accept her revelation of herself, and it's rude to God to not accept his revelation of who he is. See, that's why, sir, you and I have to be serious about what's the evidence that Muhammad spoke the truth, that Ba'ula of the Baha'i faith spoke the truth, that Siddhartha Gautama Buddha spoke the truth. What's the evidence that Jesus Christ spoke the truth? Because obviously, although there are similarities, as you pointed out, sir, very well, there are also contradictions.
Yes.
For instance,
But I feel like the contradictions just come culturally. Because
Culturally?
they all were spread out so far that the contradictions were just based on their culture. But I also don't understand how a religion that came from Israel or a religion that came from the Middle East
right?
seems to benefit, I hate to say it, the white male.
Oh, wow. I think
Like,
it's
how does
fair
that
to
make
say
sense?
Christianity has been used in the West to benefit white supremacy. But, sir, did you know that the demographic in the world today that has the highest percentage of Christians is women of color?
Absolutely.
Okay, so there are more women of color who believe in Jesus Christ than there are white folks.
But that's just to combat the white folks that do it. A lot of women of color who feel the need to learn and practice Christianity do it as a way to rebuttal the white man's
I
approach.
really don't feel like I turn towards religion to combat against white people. I'm just going to say it right here.
I definitely do.
Okay, but wait a second,
As a
sir. You
Latino.
stepped into a big mistake
How so?
because you just made an incredible judgment of women of color.
Yeah.
And you said that women of color believe in Jesus Christ because they need a way to combat white folks. That is a lie, sir. And I know it's taught on this campus, so I understand why you would believe it. It's taught by some very intellectual professors of yours, okay? So I can empathize with you. But if you study African believers, if you study South American believers, if you study Asian believers, you begin to realize this has nothing to do with white folks. This has nothing to do with colonialism. This has to do with people who reject Western materialism, who reject American nationalism, and they're not impressed with American nationalism. But they are very profoundly affected by Jesus Christ because they realize that American materialism is the pits. It denies spirituality. It's just live for money, live for things, live for money. And my African brothers and sisters and my South American brothers and sisters and my Asian brothers and sisters reject that, but they say Jesus Christ. The evidence is he is reliable. The evidence is there's more to life than materialism, I'm going to follow Christ. Does that make any sense?
A bit.
Okay, what doesn't make sense?
I see what you're saying. The only part that doesn't make sense to me personally is how we, as an American society, have corrupted religion just
You're
based
right.
on materialism.
You're right.
We really have, and
Yes,
we've
sir.
made it a profitable source, which I don't think religion should have anything to do with money.
I hate that. You're
I hate it.
absolutely right.
And I feel like we, as an American society, have really coined religion as a profitable income.
Correct. At times, that's too correct.
Yeah.
Tragic, isn't it?
And I feel like that ruins the views for a majority of lower income people when it comes to, but they always have faith. Don't get me wrong, they always have faith.
In who?
Jesus Christ.
Correct.
But
My lower income friends in the United States have the intellectual open-mindedness to never allow a wealthy white Christian to turn them off to the true Jesus Christ, who did not have a materialist bone in his body, who attacked materialism and attacked the abuse of money in so many of his teachings. It's incredible. The parable of the rich fool in Luke 12, the guy who builds bigger barns to store his crop and says, "Soul, you have much good stored up for yourselves. What are you going to do? Oh, eat, drink, and be merry." And God says, "You fool, today your soul is required of you." Now who's going to enjoy all the money that you've poured out to yourself? So repeatedly, Christ agrees with you. Materialistic Christianity is horrible, absolutely horrible. Nationalistic Christianity that says America is the greatest, horrible. White Christianity that asserts white supremacy or that the white folks are God's chosen best people, absolutely horrible. It stinks. You're absolutely right. So that's why, sir, please read the Gospels and examine the evidence that points to Jesus Christ being the truth, not white Western Christianity. Does that make sense?
yeah, I respect you for that.
Thank you. Stuart, what do you think?
Well, just so we're not debating religion out here. It's Jesus Christ. Because I fully agree with you. It's like Niebuhr said when he talked about how if you have a petri dish and you have religion in there, everything about man and woman's pride and ego is going to be put into religion in such a way where it's not creating a just society. There's not humility. There's not an identity that's formed in a non-oppressive kind of way. Instead, it's I'm better than you. I'm better than you in every kind of way. I live better than you. I worship better than you. I have a God that's better than yours. That's what you're going to have versus encountering Jesus Christ in the gospel, which is all based on a non-oppressive absolute, which talks about there is tolerance shown through Christ in terms of how to really love and yet also how to really disagree with other people. Because now today we either have you can't love because you disagree with people, or you can disagree with people, but you definitely, in some way, you're stomping all over them. But Jesus Christ combines the two and says, no, when I disagree with you, I'm not saying you're a horrible person. I'm not stepping all over your identity. No, I'm disagreeing with your ideas, and yet I'm loving you as a person. And by disagreeing with your ideas, I hope that is actually loving you more than as opposed to if I'm just a pluralist or if I'm supposedly more tolerant that we get in our PC culture today. I'm simply saying just, yeah, I agree. And that's how I'm loving you. No, my child that's struggling with alcoholism, I'm not just going to say, I agree, go to the next party, binge drink at the next party, binge drink. No, I'm going to say there are consequences. I'm disagreeing with you here because I love you. And that's what Jesus was doing over and over again. So it's encountering Christ through the Gospels rather than, I agree with you, religion, which is worse than non-religion in my book.
Right. Thank you, sir. You're a delight to talk to.
You as well. I
The way you
appreciate
think
it.
and articulate, I really respect and appreciate a lot.
Thank you.
Is there any other issue that is on your mind?
With religion?
Yes. And with Jesus Christ specifically, what do you think about Christ? Do you think he's a good teacher?
I want to say no, but I don't feel like it's his fault. I feel like it's common man's fault.
Good. So we've agreed on that, right?
Yeah.
He's been corrupted. But when you read the Gospels, do you find Christ very attractive or not? When you read Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, the first 4 books of the New Testament, do you find Christ attractive or do you find him ugly and manipulative and someone you would not want to trust?
At the time, I feel like I wouldn't want to trust. I'd have to he'd have to earn that trust.
Okay, good.
But he's not here for me now to earn that trust.
Okay, but you can read about how he treated people, what he taught ethically, how he died, and how he rose from the dead. So based on that historical evidence, do you think he's trustworthy or not?
Historical evidence is just written words. I mean, I could write whatever I want. I could say whatever I wanted about you, and 2,000 years, people could say you were the Jesus Christ. So that's where I have difficulty believing the Jesus Christ. But I do believe in Christianity. I do believe in Hinduism. I do believe in, like I said, the higher being. It's just Jesus Christ has been so corrupted and so marketed that now it's just really hard to find or to seek refuge in
Okay.
Jesus Christ.
I understand and I agree with you, a lot of what you say. But sir, for the past 2 days, there's been a guy out here who has called me some pretty dirty names. He's dropped the F-bomb repeatedly. He's made some really vulgar sexual moves out here. And that's history. Now today, I have the honor and privilege of talking with a guy who's very serious, very respectful, you. Now, if all of us say that you are the vulgar guy and this other guy is the really nice guy, that is wrong historically. It's incorrect.
Yeah.
And I don't think you could get a bunch of people to agree that you've been vulgar, that you've been disrespectful, because that's a lie. You've not been vulgar, you've been very respectful, and it's been an honor to dialogue with you. The other guy, he's a piece of work. He's a rascal,
Yeah.
all right? So that's historically true. We can't change that, guys. Now, we can lie. I can say, hey, guy, this guy's an idiot. He's just ripping me to shreds for no reason. That would be a lie. You've not done that once. You've been very kind, very gracious. And so I'd be lying. I would be historically inaccurate.